everyone. I have a pleasure to welcome you at the panel devoted to creativity from the employee's perspective and innovation in practice. And this panel will be run by me. My name is Maryla Wojcieszek, and I have amazing guests today with me. We have Karolina Stogidis, Human Resources and Employer Branding Manager from mBank. Hello, Karolina.
Project Manager.
Project Manager, sorry. We have Laura Drexler, Open Innovation Manager from Veolia, Germany. We have, Laura is the first time in Warsaw, so please give her like very warm welcome. I love it. Okay, thank you. We have also Magda Gajownik, Innovation Manager from Polish Development Fund.
Pleased to be here.
Hello, Magda. And we have Karol Gajewicz, Head of Venture Studio from Żabka Future. Hello, Karol.
Hello.
Nice to have you. This is about creativity, and at the previous panel there was a question about the definition of creativity. Still, I would not like you to start from talking, but from creating something. Therefore, I have like a set of 8 Lego bricks for you, and I would like you to build what creativity means for you in the context of your organization. Okay, please build it and tell us in a minute.
Thank you.
And in the meantime, I would like to, you will have like a minute or so. And in the meantime, I would like to address the audience, and please raise your hands. Who considers themselves to be creative? Who is creative? Like, don't be shy, just raise your hands high. Great, thank you. And now, who considers your company or your organization that you work at to be innovative? Also, please raise your hands. Okay, seems like more or less the same group. So we'll have like the basic thesis to start our discussion. The thesis would be like that creative employees equal innovative organizations. And we will try to discuss that with our guests, whether it's true or whether it's not that natural to have this effect. I'm looking at my guests, like, how are you doing? Let me know when you're finished. And of course, I will ask you to describe what this art and something you built means, of course. Okay, Magda, could you start? I guess you're ready, are you?
I am ready. I think we're just aiming high. We just want to know where we're going, which direction we're going, what the innovations means to us. But I've done it very fast because I think you just need to start somewhere. You don't need to overthink. You just need to try and look at it as a process, as a production line, and then you just look at the efficiency, what you can change, what you can do better to make the innovation flow within the organization and make it happen. I think a lot of it's about relations, so you need to just listen to people and then build the blocks quickly and adjust them in the right order to serve the process within the big organization.
Thank you, that's very interesting. Okay, who's next?
Great. I can say, so for me, can you repeat once again the question?
What's creativity for you in the context of your organization?
Okay, so for us, creativity means working together a lot, and it means that we sometimes step out of the box, sometimes we fail as well, but it's about having courage to try things and really the cooperation and having trust in your team. That's why my block is a little bit, it's not like a solid thing. We are different people in different departments, but we cooperate, and we, as I said, sometimes fail, but very often we achieve great things in banking.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I don't know if everybody can see. Maybe Karolina, you could like show your what you have built.
Oops. So this, okay, it failed a little bit, but as I said.
Okay, thank you. Great. Laura, would you like to be the next one?
Of course. So for me, creativity comes top down, but also bottom up. So I have those different layers, and especially in our company, I would say that we focus more on top down, and that's why I have this high
tower.
But of course, bottom up is also very, very important, and we'll talk about that very more today.
Yeah, great. Karol.
Right. So I didn't go very creative. I just connected like 3 blogs. But basically, this is more the representation of our corporation, or rather its founding players. So basically in our Żabka group, which is grocery retailer or convenience ecosystem, as we like to call it in Żabka. So basically we have 3 layers. One of them is let's say it's layer the goal to transform the whole format of convenience. Another one is the transformation of the responsibility, which is basically ESG. And the third one is the digital transformation. And this is what we believe are three elements to achieve a success. And basically creativity is part of all of them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask you also. Thank you for the Lego art that you've created. But I would like to raise the question: why at all are we discussing creativity here? We have like you representatives of large companies, corporations, international, and large Polish institution as well. Why is creativity a topic to be discussed in this context?
I
I'd
may
like to-
start
yes.
first. I think we're here to discuss big companies because we are in need of creativity. I think especially in the Polish companies and the large companies, we tend to work in the silos. We close ourselves within our teams, and sometimes in the middle of a work we lose the contact with each other. And during the pandemic, sometimes we don't know the teams because they grew and the people changed their positions. So I think in order to have some creativity, we need some common sense of a community. We need to believe that everyone is creative and prepare systems for that. And obviously in the bigger companies, the distances to the high boards are becoming even larger. So communication with the people that have a vision for the organizations, they know what the innovation might need to them. It's harder to give across to the workers. So I think especially taking care of innovations in large corporations is important because we need to put a lot of effort in that to make it happen. It's not like in a startup when you sit together, you brainstorm and you make it happen. With us there are long processes, administrations, a lot of people on the way to convince, and somewhere in the end we need to show the results that the effort was needed and it was worth doing that. So there's some return on investment. So I think that's why this is so crucial and it needs to be taken care of in the large corporations.
What's your view?
So I think that creativity is a very important topic for the companies because we know as an mBank that people make a difference. That's one of our actually employer branding claims. Wyróżniają nas ludzie, but at the same time for company, even if you attract the top talent, you need to find systems, as you said, processes to let those creative people work together and build something for a common goal to achieve market value, to bring something to customers that at the end of the day they will buy and they will be happy to have in their lives.
Laura?
For me, it's, you talk about creativity and innovation and we think it's fun. Everybody loves it. It's one of the main topics we are talking about. But why are big corporates doing it? Because they want to make money with that. Of course, money is a big driver also for corporates. And so for them, of course, innovation is not short-term money, but it's long-term money. You have to invest long-term to get new business models, new business ideas for the future. And that's why it's so important to invest into innovation and creativity, of course.
Right. So from the perspective of my company, I would say this is like the existential need. This is basically crucial component of our development of our company. So basically, to those of you who don't know, Żabka is like everywhere. It's basically on every corner in Poland. There are more than 9,000 outlets in Poland. Whenever I meet someone and tell them I'm from Żabka, they try to impress me how many Żabkas they have on the streets where they're living. So, but then you could expect that we already saturated the market. And then for us to grow, we also need a lot of creativity in order to find the new catchments, create the new formats, come up with the best offer for our customers. And another aspect is the creativity is something that our employees expect from us. It's just, people don't want to work in the boring companies, right? So we need to provide them with the exciting, creative jobs. Yeah.
And we as employers, if I may add, we also need to believe in the innovation, what we are creating and trying to do. So I think doing some initiatives which are bottom up and that people are involved in the innovation processes, it helps them to bring along them to the project and believe in the project that we do. And I believe it's much easier to commercialize anything or make more efficient organization when you have a pool of people behind you, then you have a whole group, a wolf pack to work on innovation.
Yes, there are like a couple of aspects I would like to touch upon. Magda, you mentioned that large organizations mean complex processes, which make it more difficult for people to catch up, to cooperate, to stay in contact. Laura, you mentioned that large companies are, of course, interested in making more money and more profit. But like, what is the path from a single person who is creative, considers themselves creative or not, because it also may be different, but like what is necessary, what the organization needs to provide for people to create space for creative activities, and which will lead to innovation and in the long term to profit. What is necessary from your all organization's perspective?
So I think for me the first point is the organization need to work out for themselves what the innovation means to them. Without that, no one is gonna innovate and propose anything. So for once it could be making more efficient, effortless organization when you make savings on a way. For some organization it might be coming with new products, new services. So I think it's very important that the key people in the organization sit together and they decide what the innovation means to them. I personally believe that everyone is creative in those companies where clients, we see things and everyone can bring something to the table. However, if you work in a large organizations, you need to have a built processes. It needs to be like to everyone. If you want to do something, you just need a clear path. And as long as organization can build the paths and make the process which is foreseeable for innovator, it makes it easier. If I have an innovation, I have the process, I know to whom I can give my idea, and I know what's going to happen to the idea, who's going to evaluate it, and how we're going to implement it, whether there are project procedures for that implementations. Obviously, what is very important is the communication of that, and that people know, they're aware that they can always bring the ideas to the table and the idea will be implemented. And I think for organizations and for the people that work in a large organization, the biggest drive and motivation comes when they see their ideas implemented. If they have a process that doesn't work and then you give ideas and then you see that nothing happens with them and you don't get feedback, I think ideas on those programs, they're dying very quickly. So for people who are running the programs, I think a lot of effort needs to be put on the implementation. So you see the ideas get attractions, people see that they have an organization that invests in innovation and they feel impact, that they've done something and they contributed to the good cause.
Mm-hmm. And I know that both your organization, Magda, and Karolina at mBank, you had the programs, special dedicated programs for employees to get them engaged into creating, coming up with ideas. Could you tell us more about it?
Of course. So actually, coming back also to your previous question, I think creativity and innovation comes with corporate culture as well. It's very important. So for us, we at mBank, we have objectives and key result approach. And 2 years ago, I think one of our colleagues from Learning and Development Department, she received an objective to help our employees learn new skills connected to future of work. Skills like machine learning, AI, data science, but also creativity and critical thinking. So actually, when you give someone this kind of an objective, either a company can have a very goal-oriented approach, meaning, for instance, okay, let's train 1,000 employees with the new skills, or in our case, we had a very different creative approach. We thought, okay, so people need to learn new skills. They need to be ready for future jobs. So let's find a creative way, kind of a gamification to help them develop those skills. So we had an idea about Mission Innovation, our program, which helped people, it was a competition where individuals can submit ideas about what kind of innovations can we bring to banking. Then the people who submitted ideas could create teams to work on their project plans, pitch those ideas to the management board, and chosen initiatives are now being implemented. So for me, it's about giving people the space to create something, giving employees trust that they can be entrepreneurs in their own corporations, and at the end of the day also give them a chance to have fun.
What were the results? It's also at Magda at Polish Development Fund when it comes to those ideas. Did it work?
Me or Magda first? Okay.
You
Okay.
can
So for
continue.
us, it was amazing because our employees submitted 240 ideas, and right now, 6 of them are being already in development phase. So I know when you count 240 and then 6, maybe it doesn't sound much, but I think a lot of people who are dealing with acceleration programs, and also when I think actually our goal was to help people gain skills. So I think it was incredible result.
And as for PFR, we've created a crowdsourcing program, and then we solely focused on improving our organizations, our communications, our well-being within the company, as well making more processes more efficient and easier for us. So we started a program a year ago, and then we were just after pandemics and thinking what's going to be like, and then we set ourselves a target. Okay, let's aim for 15 ideas, and we try to implement 5 of those. So we were very highly surprised. We had 90 ideas so far, almost 20 implementations, from a small ones to a bigger ones. And what we also noticed in the process, because we've tranched the ideas, so I think each challenge was different. We started giving people challenges to professionalize the ideas and give us the proper solutions. So we saw that if we work with people and give them training and give them good solid challenge, which is described by the board, and they get the training how they might solve it, they gave us less ideas, but they are better quality ideas. So when we, in the last challenge, work on improving efficiency of our work and looking for muda, looking for resources, lost time, finding talents within the companies, we found really good ideas, and then we find that we're going towards the digitization of our services. So we started about four projects going across the company, which gonna make the company paperless, and we're trying to eliminate paper from work. That was, for example, one of the ideas that we're working, and it's turning into a bigger project.
So you have observed very tangible results and effects for the entire company, which came from those initial ideas of a single employee.
Absolutely, and I think the results that we gained by it, we see, we've noticed that we've created common society. People follow our newsletter, our news, they send informations, but we also, what we've noticed in this year, and I think which is very important, we've seen the ambassadors. They are people that have more energy than others, they have more creativity than others, and there are people that are willing to take on extra work because they see a sense and they want to contribute to the organizations. So for now, there are certain initiatives where people that give their ideas, they're implementing them themselves. For example, today we had a meeting in a kitchen because one of the colleagues said, well, we need initiatives where we all get to know each other. and they created initiative that let's meet each other, and every month each department presents themselves, and we have a pizza, and then we talk about what we do and how the innovation fits to our company. So and this is purely a bottom grass driven initiative. We started it as a bank. We're given the process, we're given some funding and support and communication within the company, and the initiatives goes on itself.
So you started from this top down, that's actually Laura built with Lego, but then it turned to this bottom up initiatives and built a community.
It's been bottom up, and I think we started also being noticed by the board and then supported, and in the last call for proposals from people, we had the full support of our board. So also I think it's important in here to underline how the board of the big company is important. They're making it happen. They have a budget. They work with the key directors. They know how to change the ideas in tangible effects. So we try to involve board as much as possible, that they give their own challenges. They host the innovator lunches. They shake the hands of every person that given the idea. They make the innovation visible across the organization. As we say, the culture of innovation. That's what it's also driving it. So people seeing board being engaged, that they are visible, that there are relations around it. They gain new experiences. I think it's a big driver within the organization.
Thank you. You've mentioned those internal programs, dedicated programs, but what happens if even people from the audience work in organizations where there are no dedicated programs of this kind? How in other forms can they still make use of their creativity? So what other forms you use in your companies, maybe Karol and Laura? How do you, maybe in other forms, can engage people?
So in Veolia, Germany, for example, we have think tanks. I don't know if, I think everybody knows this term here. There are actually people from different departments, like Veolia is really organized in a really, really decentral way in Germany. And the people have appointments, I think it's once every 2 or 3 months. And if you want, you can just pop into a group and just talk about different subjects. And there's usually one moderator, like from the innovations department, who is moderating it. That, for example. Then we have currents groups, so we work with Google, where everybody can join, and there are different dedicated subjects to innovation or creativity, and you can exchange there and find like-minded people. Yes.
Is it like after-hour initiatives, or how does it work?
Yes, usually, yes. Usually, unfortunately, I would say actually, it's after hours. Yes, it's after hours. It's on top, but usually the people who are joining those initiatives, they don't mind. It's as you said, they are the ones who have more energy, and they're the ones who are not interested. And it's fine that they are not interested. It's totally fine, because you want the ones who are driven, who want to give the power, who want to be creative. And so it's okay.
So these are the ambassadors that
Exactly,
the organization
the
can build on, right? This community
Exactly.
of ambassadors.
Yeah.
Right. So from my perspective, and coming also back to the previous questions, I believe there are like 3 components to nurturing, to fostering the creativity: the environment in the company, the sponsoring of the board, of the CEO, it was mentioned obviously, the skills, providing the trainings, also the processes that allow to implement the creative projects. But I think also that the third component is the autonomy. I mean, providing the autonomy to the employees. So letting them go out to the market, choose the courses, the trainings they like, and later on give them the space to implement them. And this is sort of approach I'm having in my team, and it really works out. So basically, my team is most responsible for scouting innovation, and I would say that promoting creativity in the company is sort of like a side product, right? But basically, I can see that people from different departments, they take on the projects in another department because they were allowed to, and they were given this autonomy to just go after they like. And this actually works because once they like something, they really dedicate themselves the time and the passion and energy to work on it.
Karol, I know also that Venture Studio, you're the head of Venture Studio, and this is supposed to be this one-stop shop from innovators who wants to enter Żabka Group, right? And you do not run yet special dedicated programs for employees, but I know that you engage employees in those initiatives that Venture Studio runs, right? And you've also seen some side effects, very positive side effects. Could you?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, we don't have the, I would say, monopoly for the innovation in our company. Like almost every department has its dedicated person working on the innovative solutions. The specifics of my team is basically to scout the innovation outside, scout them on the market, so work with the innovations creators, most of the time understood as startups. And basically we have different ways, different channels to do that. And one of them is our acceleration programs. And obviously to provide the best value for the startups, we need the mentors, the experts from our business. So we trade employees who are willing to take on those new innovative projects with the startups. We train them, and we see amazing effects because after working with the startups, they are sort of like nurtured with the new ideas, with the new energy to change something in the areas. Our main goal was basically to find the startups, implement them, and bring the new revenue, maybe invest in the startups. But the side product of nurturing the creativity is something that we really like. And so we started doing those internal events. Like just yesterday, we had the Żabka Innovation Day, where we did an external event for the employees, where we invited the startups we are working with. We actually have a representative of one of them just sitting there from Ecobin, Marcin. And basically what really amazes me is that the solutions that intuitively were matching one area turned out to be possible match also for other departments. But this is something we didn't come up with. Maybe we lacked creativity, but other employees, they came up with those solutions. And some of them might be implemented not just only one, but maybe in several departments.
So this is very positive.
Can I add something what Karol said? I think it's very important for companies to give autonomy to the employees, as you said, and also it's very connected with the corporate culture, because if we know that all the employees are creative, but we need to give them space to, first of all, learn new things, be able to go to the market, to see new companies, to see different vendors, to go to trainings also, like Karol said, then give them space. And then it's really very important that the management board and the middle management, the managers, they're open to those ideas. And it's very connected also for me with the hierarchy. If there are employees, creative employees who show initiative and they have ideas what to change, I've seen companies where it's the boss who goes to the top management and pitches the idea. And then there is the question, if for me, an innovative company gives employees the space to talk about their ideas.
Yeah, and I know, Laura, that you have the experience of observing this mindset shift at the top management level. Like, could you, it seems maybe obvious.
Before that, something to
Sure.
what the other said. So we as well have a startup program called You Start in Veolia, Germany. And so the employees, we also have like mentors for every startup who is joining the program. And every employee who is joining the program absolutely loves it and wants to do it again. Really everyone. And we do startup pitch events. And in the beginning, we started with 30 people joining because they were not interested, they didn't know about it, whatever. And now, whatever, 5 years, 7 years later, we have 150 people and they love it. Like everybody, even the top management, joins and looks at it and has, likes it watching it.
Yes, and
and
about this top management.
exactly,
right?
the top management. So the second question, so we started 7 years ago our innovations department, and it was the wish, or let's call it even the baby, of the CEO at that time. And he loved innovations, he loved startups, and he absolutely wanted us to create the startup program, and we were seriously the most important topic in the company at that time for 3 years. And then the CEO went somewhere else. He actually got head of sales, or whatever, in corporate. So he went to the corporate, went to Paris, and we had a different top management who was not that much into innovation. They had other important topics, which I totally understand. But of course, and I think that was our key learning, or is our key learning. So innovation needs a sponsor in a corporate or in a company, and if you don't have a good sponsor, it's really, really tough actually to get through initiatives. And so we got lucky that then there was a change in Paris, and we had a new innovation department in Paris, and they gave us a new drive. But yeah, we had 1 or 2 years which were quite tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. While I was preparing to this panel, I also got to a very shocking data report. It was prepared by Polish Agency for Enterprise Development, and it's a Global Entrepreneurship Monitor for 2022. And actually, I don't know if you're familiar with the report, but it showed that in Poland, within the last 3 years, every 70th employee in the company was active in various kind of entrepreneurial activity within an organization. And of course, it's like a very poor result, right? So we are behind many countries, and research run within 50 countries globally. And I would like to ask you, from your experience, what have you observed within your organizations? What hinders employees from becoming active, from making use of their creativity, coming up with ideas, and so on? What are the barriers?
I think all those things we mentioned that are basically encouraging the creativity. So lack of environment, lack of skills and processes, and lack of autonomy. Yeah.
I think the culture, very often we see that the culture is the key. People need to feel sure that they can experiment. There is a culture that you can fail. And very often I think I have experience of talking over 160 large companies in Poland after COVID. We see that people are very much target focused. They just KPI. When they invest, they want a quick turnaround of money, and they only expect successes. But innovation is a process. Like everyone, you go to the aim quickly, and then you adjust things, and then you might succeed or might not. But you always learn something and gain something. And I think it's a big cultural shift that needs to happen, that you open for innovation, and then you have the room within the company to test new ideas and bring them and finance them. What I've also seen very predominantly in the companies, that in the Polish traditional companies, if there is any innovation, it lies closely to financial director. It's a person that looks at the Excel tables, and the revenues might need to be fixed at the end of the year. So very little companies really are aware that the innovation is important, what it might be to their companies, and that they want to give resources to that cause. What we've often heard is that people trying to get some EU money, EU funding for projects, through collaborations to start innovations, but it's not the actual initiative and belief that the innovation is something important for the growth, for being competitive in the market, that we might gain the advantage. It's I think very clear and result-driven process that hinders innovation.
I totally agree to Magda that innovation culture is absolutely the key to create innovation and creativity in a company. And I remember that it took us 2 years 2 years to get this culture on, and there was so much communication. There was talking. We were everywhere, in external events, internal events, and we just talked to everybody in the company to get this culture done. Yeah, done and with culture.
And
yes.
it's a process. I see.
It is a process, yeah.
As I told you, we've done 3 rounds of calls for ideas. So the first round, maybe we got the most ideas from people. But if we look at them, we thought, well, we've got a lot of ideas, but they're really tiny ideas. People first give you their basic needs. They need more training. They want a canteen. They want something that make their life in the company more comfortable. And then when you work with them, you try to solve some of their issues, and then you guide them towards more difficult challenges. You see also the progress within the organization, the engagement, and I think the quality ideas as well.
Karolina?
Yes, so I think what hinders innovation is first lack of training, lack of exposure to different things, and also closed-minded approach of the leadership. So as Carol said, it's actually the opposite things what boosts innovation within the company. And really, I think that's what I really love about my company, is that we have so many learning opportunities, and that we really give space to the employees to experiment, that they are product owners. If you are an expert, if you are a specialist, you are a product owner of your task. We don't have innovation department like here we can hear. It's like everyone is responsible for innovating their own scope. So it's very important that we have access to trainings, to going to conferences, to meeting people in different areas, and also sharing knowledge internally. And then the managers should give people time to go to those trainings, to go to those meetings, and also to listen to these ideas. And then there is the crucial thing for me, follow up on those ideas. So if someone shares an idea, it doesn't matter if it's a good or a bad one, it's about the culture to let people speak up.
And transparent
Mhm.
feedback. People
Yes.
need to receive transparent feedback. They're okay if their idea hasn't been marked okay, or we move it forward. We don't move it forward for implementation right now. They just need to receive a feedback. And also adding on that, I think looking at the internal politics of a big company, I think you need a lot of alliances. So I think your closest friend should be HR department, because they're the ones that can unblock resources and let people to go and join the projects and spend a bit of more time. You need a good alliance with the communication department, which have an intranet, so you can voice ideas and the initiatives go across the entire company. So it's also a lot of bit of politics and bringing different units on the board and working with them and trying to break those barriers. But obviously they're also difficult people as usual, and I think that's in every organization. There are some blockers, and you just need to learn to live with them, work with them, and come across challenges.
Okay, the last question, because these are like quite big words as you mentioned, those organization culture, sponsoring of the management board, and learning opportunities, but we are discussing those employee perspective. So what if even persons in our audience do not have all those 3 things at their organization? What can they do from this bottom up? What should they do to start also building from this bottom level this culture and gaining learning opportunities and so on? What would you advise them?
Just think what the innovation means to your company, what it could be, where are the assets. I think important to start any process and of improving anything, you just need to realize where are your assets, what is the positive value in a company, where is possible to do something, and then I think start doing things. And I think when people see motivation and motivated people that want to do something, they join, and it's starting happening.
I would say find an ally. When I think about our mission innovation, we had, like Zosia is here from our team, we had a brainstorm what we can do to help people learn new things. And then when we had this idea about this whole innovation competition, we went to some of our managers, we asked them what they think, and all of them, like really it didn't matter. I'm from HR, she's from finance, we had also people from IT and risk management, and each of us heard the same thing from the manager. Okay, go to our management board, pitch the idea and see what happens. So for me, it's really, if you are a creative employee and you want to have initiative, just find an ally, find a good manager who will support you and will not take your idea and will give you the space to run your creativity.
I would also say, go and start talking with in the kitchen with a coffee and talk about your idea. Talk to everybody about the idea, and then you will find allies, and then you will find a manager, you will find the sponsor, and then you go to the top management. Exactly.
A lot of it is a relation, actually. Everything happens because of relation. You build the relations over time. You just get to know people, you find the ways, you get the comments from them, you tweak them a bit, you make it more possible to happen, and the ball rolls.
Just like with the bricks, right? You added those from the bottom with those at the up, and those in the middle also matter, right?
They
Carol,
change it.
Would you add something?
Yeah, I agree. But I would say that relations, they basically they help you to have your message, your idea being heard. But basically, the first thing is just come up and speak out about your ideas. And this is basically like a pro tip for everything, like in a life, right? So basically, those who succeed in corporation, and especially in corporations, because we are all representative of the corporations, is that those who are open and brave enough to show their ideas, to pitch them, to push them forward, those are the people that are getting promoted. Those are who are driving the change in the company. Because as I believe I'm representing a very innovative company, then every corporation, most of the corporations, and most people of the corporation, they don't really want to go forward with the ideas. They tend to stay in the comfort zone. Not everyone wants to be creative, right? But if you're the one who wants to be creative, who wants to push forward the ideas, you just need to make the step and be loud about it.
Yeah, so summing up, it's about building relations, finding allies for your ideas that you have, those creative ideas, or look for others who have the same problem, right? This may be like accidentally identified, but still it's important. And then have this courage and be active, right? So not sit at the desk doing nothing, waiting for somebody to find you, but do what you can do to push through and to get noticed. Thank you very much. I think there could be like many more questions to ask, but if you, dear audience, have any questions, just please find my dear guests in this networking area. Thank you once again. Our guests were Karolina Stogidis from mBank, Dora Drexler, Veolia Germany, Magda Gajownik, Polish Development Fund, and Karol Gajewicz, Venture Studio, Żabka Future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.